Donkey Jaw Projects.
What's up, y'all? This is Marshall of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and this might be a loud one, this might be a busy one, or a bouncy one. But I had a thought, and I figured I'd capture it because I don't want it to go away, and I don't want to get all jumbled like I did yesterday. So, I was just thinking about kind of this idea of creating, I guess, linearly, or like right off kind of the top of the head, coming up with ideas and stuff, and then more purposefully, like the difference between the two. And, you know, because I'm thinking about story a lot, and one of the things is that I try to, like, as a storyteller, you want to have a purpose, a theme. At least for me, I personally want to have a theme for the story I'm telling. I'm not the type of person who's happy with just kind of telling events and not having some kind of like emotional core or theme or almost, I hate to say the word lesson, but you know, it kind of is a lesson, you know, even when you're not really intending it to be that. So, you know, the thing is, though, I've done a lot of creating, especially with like hip hop, because I write lyrics and do hip hop music and make beats and stuff. But I don't do that as much these days. But you know, with that, you know, basically I just need a beginning when I'm writing like a verse or whatever. I need just like a beginning to something and maybe a vague idea of what I want to write about. And then once I get that beginning, I can just go on and like I find words that rhyme and try to fit that into the theme of what I'm talking about. And sometimes it just ends up being a bunch of random just statements and fun things and puns and punchlines and just, you know, whatever. It just turns into something that maybe you don't even intend. And I think there's something really cool that comes out of that. And I've done the same with like writing, like maybe like free writing and stuff like that, and even coming up with ideas for comics and stuff. I've done a lot of that kind of thing. That's probably the primary way I've done things so far. But, you know, as I'm learning about story and wanting to hone it to a little bit more of a sophisticated level, I guess, not like in the sense of like, you know, snobby or anything, but more just like a little more robust or whatever. Like I don't want it to just be simple like random thoughts or anything like that, or events. I want it to actually tell a story that causes people to either think or feel or be entertained. And I don't want to just do that for the sake of entertaining people. To me, one thing that I don't hear writers talk about very often is the responsibility of writing and storytelling, and knowing how to move somebody. You know, if you understand how to put story together, I mean, marketers and stuff do this, and politicians do this, you know, and if you can do that well, you can influence and you can manipulate even, and you can do all kinds of things that might not be so ethical, might not be, you know, really a good thing morally. So I want to be responsible, you know. I want to put across ideas that don't harm the world but help the world, that inspire the world in ways that are good, you know. I don't want to, you know, and that doesn't mean you can't express dark things or, you know, stuff that's a little scary or whatever, but, you know, I just want to be responsible. I don't want to just put stuff out there and then find out that it caused, you know, it inspired somebody to do something horrible. You know, that would really suck. So, you know, I think a little bit more about what I'm doing sometimes. So with all of that being said, the whole point is really that, sometimes when I'm doing kind of that off the top of the head thing, which I think, both kind of modes of writing, I think, are helpful and important. And I think that if you can find some kind of mix between the two, that's maybe the way to go. I don't know. But so the thing is, though, with like kind of the mode of writing where you're just kind of randomly coming at things, sometimes you might express things that aren't even necessarily what you believe, or think, like viewpoints or worldviews that you don't agree with, like maybe a particular political view or something, or just on any topic really. And I'm thinking, like, okay, so that was kind of clever and interesting the way I did it, but I'm not going to put that out there because I'm not going to just, I feel like I could get somebody to kind of feel with that, because I know, that it's like that thing, like, oh, well, there's a cool story, but I don't actually necessarily want to put something out there that's that violent or something, or, there might be certain things that it just isn't what you feel responsible not to put that out there in a certain way. So I was thinking about that, and I'm like, it really stinks when that happens, because it's not like you kind of put the effort in, and then you think, well, is it wasted, or you, even if it's just thought ideas, it's like, is that wasted? Like, can I? And I was thinking, well, maybe I could still use that in that, with stories you need characters, all different kind of characters with all kinds of different viewpoints. And a friend of mine who you may or may not be familiar with, he's definitely, down with the whole, like, he's one of the old art and story guys, Kevin Cross. He has talked about it a couple times, and I'm sure maybe Jersey has too, where, like, when you're writing a cast of characters, you don't want to just write all your characters with your viewpoint and try to prove your viewpoint. Not only that, but you don't want to say you have a certain viewpoint and there's a certain viewpoint you don't like. You don't want to, okay, the viewpoint you don't like is going to be the villain, and the viewpoint you do like is going to be the hero. That type of thing. You don't want to just do that either, because you're going to run the risk of being preachy. You're going to run the risk of not being fair. Just because you feel strongly about a certain thing doesn't mean you're even right about that thing. So, and also it might just not be a fair, well-rounded, thing. So, being human, and Jersey's talked about this before too, it's like, you don't like just wake up one day and be like, okay, I am conservative, or, I'm a Republican, or I'm a Democrat. You kind of, it's the politicians who kind of put those two sides, at odds with each other more, I think, than actual thought and feeling of many people. So humans are way more complex than one simple way of thinking. So I've considered myself conservative at times, but that doesn't mean I don't empathize or even agree with some liberal things, and and now I kind of don't identify myself with either, because to me, I think, I don't want to get into politics, but but it's just frustrating to me, both sides. So that being said, like, I'm human. I'm not, a particular category. I'm a human. So the whole point is that I can empathize with all kinds of different viewpoints, even if they're not exactly what I believe or think. You know, I am very much identify myself as a Christian. You know, a person of faith in God and believe in the Bible. But I can easily identify with atheists as well. Like I don't have any actual problem with that. You know, I don't agree with the certain standpoints, of course, on especially on God. But you know, I feel like I could argue for, you know, on the side of atheism as well for certain things, you know, and there's certain things I respect, you know, in that realm of thinking. So I might come up with some kind of thing that, you know, like a character dialogue, or, you know, some kind of just a character idea for somebody who has maybe that viewpoint. But I don't necessarily want to put them as a villain just because it's not what I particularly think about certain thing. You know, I think it's a good idea to mix it up, you know. Put a, you know, somebody who thinks the way I think, or has that, you know, frame of reference at the very least, as a villain, and put this, you know, that kind of person as a hero as well. Like have a full rounded thing of characters. And you know, and that doesn't mean it has to be a one-to-one, you know, situation. Like it could be like, you know, it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical. If you do that, then you're going to kind of look like you're just trying to make everybody happy too. So there's a lot of issues all wrapped up in it. But I guess what my takeaway and my point and what I was thinking of today, and hopefully this is helpful and interesting, is that even if you come up with stuff that seems random or seems like it's not, you know, quite along the lines of what you want to put out there as a message or a theme, or, you know, a way to relate with people, that doesn't mean you can't, it's a waste, and it doesn't mean it can't be used in a story as well, you know. I mean, so yeah, I don't know, just something to think about, something that I'm thinking about. I'm not necessarily 100% sure on anything, but it's what I'm thinking about today. So hopefully that was interesting and helpful, and thanks for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want more of this kind of stuff, I'd love to talk about all this kind of thing. So that's it, guys, and women and men. Trying to be fair to everyone always, of course. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the next Art Soundoff. Actually, tomorrow's Saturday. I was supposed to take the weekends off, but because I have like this amount of time that I'm gonna definitely not, or I might very well not be able to do it because of some doctor appointment type things, that I may just do weekends too. I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. But regardless, on the next Art Soundoff, I will talk to you and we will have fun.